Warning. The following podcast features terrible jokes, usually about board games. Like those jokes your dad tells that make you groan. Yeah, those kind of jokes. Accordingly, Boards and Swords and the producers must insist that no one attempt to recreate any joke performed on this podcast.
Watch very closely now. 3, 2, 1. Bzow! Check that out.
We want the fun. Gotta have that fun.
Is it okay if it's okay if like when the bread touches the fries?
Do I really want to just stand still and cast a lightning bolt? No, I want to avoid you and shove a lightning bolt across.
I just crap my alien pants. By the way, I just want to let you guys know.
You hate all of us, and we're fired.
I've released poison into the AC system. You all have about 5 minutes left to live.
So much news, like all this stuff to talk about.
No, there's been some stuff, but it was all boring.
You didn't go with C.
Well, you need to go with C.
And our friends, we combined.
You've told that story.
We combined. Have I told it on the podcast?
I'm pretty sure
you
told
have.
it.
Well, I'm telling it again.
Because I just realized as I was reading this that this game's already been done. They even made a show about it. It's called Yu-Gi-Oh! And go watch it.
This is Boards and Swords.
Hello out there, you wonderful people. Welcome to Boards and Swords. This is a podcast which features bad jokes, good folks, and some tabletop games as well. I'm one of your hosts. My name's Chris Renshaw. First, I'm going to throw it to over there. I'm going to throw it up to the internets. In the corner there, we got Mr. Philip Herbig.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
And then we have Jimmy and Corey here live in studio.
Hello.
Guess who's who?
Yeah.
I mean, currently they're both kind of rocking long, luxurious locks.
That is true.
His hair's longer than mine.
Indeed it is.
Is that by design? Were you like
Uh,
measuring it and be like, okay, it needs to be this long?
No, I just got a haircut and brought in a lot of pictures, and the haircut I got was nothing like the photos. So it was way shorter. So, yeah.
Yeah. I hate
Okay,
it.
for a second I thought you like brought in Jimmy to the
Oh,
the
yeah.
hair salon and be like, I need it shorter than that.
Could you please cut my hair to look like this? I'd like to match my husband.
Matching haircuts. That's a thing, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody's got to do that.
We
Get
wear
some bowl
similar
cuts.
clothes very often.
Most days I get home and I'm like, why did you put on the same color pants and shirt as me?
But like, are you getting up when he is?
No.
So he's getting up first?
I get dressed first.
And then
So-
he comes and he
so-
says goodbye. I never open my eyes.
So technically, you put on the same clothes as him.
Nope. Nope.
I'm pretty sure that's how that works.
Nope. Mm-mm.
I think we both just have a lot of earth tones.
Yeah, we just both own. Yeah. When we-
Earth.
It's like that
I
episode.
think it's Earth
This-
tone.
This might be too young for Corey and Jimmy, but I'm like, is this like this episode of Doug where his
Oh, we like
outfit
Doug.
was on some TV show, and then he
Yeah.
brings everyone over and shows them his closet, and it's just
Yeah.
12 of the same damn thing.
Dude.
I think I've said this on this podcast before, but I was convinced when I was younger that the end of the Doug theme song was him going, chicken pot pie, but chicken pot pie.
It
10 out of
was on
10.
this. It was probably an outtake
Yeah,
somewhere.
believable.
All right. So we took a week off, which was a good thing because I was exhausted. And also, that was the day that I tried to fix a dishwasher and it was all over the floor, which was not a good idea
Damn.
because
Fun.
I assembled it and it still didn't work.
What would you have to fix?
I was trying to replace a heating element.
Fun.
Yeah. So
Electricity and water.
yeah.
Great time.
Oh yeah, totally. So yeah, we got a lot of news. So I'm gonna hit that thing. Where's Phil hitting it? Okay. All right. Yeah. I got 12 different news stories here. So buckle up.
All right.
Because
We're going to reuse some sound bites.
yeah. Because I'm sure some of these are not going to be worth talking about, but some of them I felt like I had to bring up in some regard, or people would be like, why didn't you talk about this thing? And I'm like, there's only this many slots.
Yeah.
Okay, first up, let me go here. I'm going to warn you, it's hard to make jokes for it's hard to make jokes for 12 different news stories. So some of these are good, some are bad, and some I didn't even try.
But this is the service you provide.
Yeah.
So
For a game that's about fighting chaos, this first one, Games Workshop doesn't like it when things fall flat, like that joke just did.
hey.
That was more of a statement than a joke.
Yeah. It was a good statement.
So Games Workshop, in the 6 months that ended in November 27th, they fell flat in North America. Reported flat sales at constant currency. I don't even know what that means. Flat sales at constant currency.
Does that mean adjusted for
They
inflation?
accounted for inflation.
Yeah, but does inflation change that much? I guess it does because currency changes all the time.
Yeah.
In its half-year report, flat sales were due to slow ordering rates from its third-party trade customers and flat sales in its own stores, the company said. Flat sales came despite an increase in the number of outlets carrying Games Workshop products. The company added 119 trade outlets in that period and had 5 more of its own stores at mid-year 2022 than it did a year ago. This isn't where we wanted to be, the company said in its report. Guess what? Right after this report came out, they announced they're raising their prices.
Yeah.
It's like, do you think maybe one involves the other?
Yeah.
Well, you said that they dropped for 6 months and then they increased their prices?
So then the report came out that said, oh, man, our sales dropped. And then like a day or two later, the news article came out that's like, we're raising prices.
But their prices increased after the sales drop.
Yes.
So something else was happening there too already. So they're just
Well-
kicking themselves or shooting themselves in the foot again.
So, yeah, there's a couple of factors there. Right now, we are in the...
In a recession.
So there's that. There's... Outside of Games Workshop, there's a recession, and this is a big, expensive hobby. Secondly, stuff is just ridiculously expensive, which goes back to the inflation part. So
Yeah.
it's already expensive, and you just made it more expensive. And then lastly, we are in a big lull for, especially in 40K, where people are losing interest rapidly in the game because it's kind of like everyone's kind of done with this edition. There's all this rules bloat, and they fixed some of it, so maybe there's like a start, and there's increasing speculation that there's a new edition coming out this summer.
So why invest in this one?
There's that.
That's
Yeah.
the idea?
Well, it's also like everyone's leaving to play other games.
Gotcha.
Like I've seen this in our own store where there's, like everybody I used to, or that would like play in our Saturday night game nights, they're all showing up to Tuesday to Infinity to learn how to play the Infinity War game. Like our BattleTech group has surged, from people that have, just lost interest. It's not fun for them anymore.
Gotcha.
Or they've got all these armies, and then a new rule book comes out and is like, you just crapped all over my army, and it's not worth playing anymore. It's not fun, so I'm gonna go play this other game. We're getting all sorts of leaks that 10th edition is coming in June, and there's all sorts of leaks, which is funny because the leaks all say something differently. So my headcanon is all these leaks are true, because they're all coming supposedly from reputable sources, and it's just people are getting different versions of the playtest document. That just makes the assumption that Games Workshop playtests, though, which is in itself a bad problem because we wouldn't be where we are if they did do regular playtests. Yeah, hey, why don't we try out a game that isn't the most expensive one for a change? Yeah, it is ridiculous. It is funny when you go to the store and there's a BattleTech box for 4 minis that are already assembled for like $19, and you're like, I can't even get one mini from Games Workshop for that price, and it's in pieces.
Do you think that a new edition can really save the fact that people are just losing interest?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I mean, I guess it would be the equivalent, a new edition of D&D. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, I got to see what
No,
this new
that
edition
new
is all
edition
about.
will be a bomb drop on the sales
Well,
as far as
when did 9th edition come out?
2020. I believe it was 2020
Oh,
because it was like the worst time for it to come out because most like our store we didn't start first playing it until summer of 21.
So what's involved in a new edition? Just new rules?
New
but
rules.
also new
Usually
mini?
it's a big box. It'll be like
starter set.
it'll be like a $250 starter set that's got 2 armies in it. That's whatever the theme of the story that they're going for in this new edition.
Okay.
The current rumor is that it'll be the Dark Angels versus the Tyranids, where the Tyranids are like the Zerg in StarCraft. So that's the current rumor.
All right.
Cool.
And this is why I had to put all the stories in here because we just spent that much time talking about sales. Okay. This next one is another one. No joke here because it involves
It's heavy.
Oh no, sexual assault.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, heavy.
So
It's heavy.
yeah. Tabletop accessories maker Wyrmwood responded to allegations of mishandled sexual assault claims. So, yeah, there's a lot to unpack here. So I'm going to start with what happened, and then we'll get into the news article here. So apparently, I want to say it was the end of you guys watched. Did you watch the video that came
I
out
watched
about
the
this?
response, and then I
Okay.
read a couple Reddit posts about it and was like, this is messy and not something that I have enough information
Yeah.
to respond to.
Right. So, according to the things that have come out in winter, it was either winter 2019 or I don't know when their holiday party. It might have been
Yep.
January 2020. They had a holiday party, and there were apparently there was a sexual assault that happened by one of their coworkers to somebody that wasn't a employee
It was
of
a guest
Wyrmwood.
at the
It was a
party.
guest at the party, and it happened on Wyrmwood grounds.
Mm.
Apparently, it didn't get reported till a year ago, as I think what the
No, I think that it came out pretty soon after, and then they were fired, and then soon after that.
Okay, no, this was right after. Okay.
Yeah.
It was recently got brought back up. Okay, that's what it was. Yeah, so basically in early January 2020, an employee was basically spreading allegations that a third party was the one doing the assault.
No, it was another coworker. It was
A third, sorry, when I say third, I
Yeah.
meant like not them and not the victim. Sorry.
Gotcha.
There were three people. The story is
yeah.
convoluted. But basically, it came out on Twitter about a month ago. Somebody said, hey, I got fired because I reported this event, and then I got fired right afterwards.
Mhm.
And then Wyrmwood, so that was the big tagline. Everybody's like getting pissed off and like, what the hell? This is wrong, blah, 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 blah. So I didn't see the video first.
Gotcha.
I saw the press release.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this isn't bad. Basically, what the story went, and again, I'm paraphrasing, so the chance of me getting some details wrong, is that the person that reported it made a big hubbub about it and was spreading and using it to spread gossip in the workplace, and got reported by somebody else saying like, hey, this person is talking about this person might have done this thing. And then they both actually got fired, both the
Yep.
assaulter and the one spreading the gossip, for causing a disruptful work
Or a
environment.
hostile work
Hostile
environment.
work environment. Yeah. So I saw the press release about it, and I was like, okay, that makes sense. Cool. But then I saw everyone still in an uproar, and I was like, what is going on? And I saw there was a video.
Yeah.
So there was a video where all that information that I just said was in that video, but it was tone deaf to all get out, where I don't even know how it was basically like behind the scenes of how the press release got drafted,
Yeah.
but it shouldn't have been something that got filmed.
It wasn't a behind the scenes because it was the HR guy saying, I already wrote the thing.
Yeah,
We're
I know,
good."
but
Yeah.
but that's the way it came off as, like,
It was more like Doug wanting to tell his side of the story
right,
Yeah.
but
and being mad that people online were like
But-
coming at him.
yes, but in a
Yeah.
way, the problem, like, at least I felt, he made it all about him.
But he's probably the one who's getting.
Right, but I'm saying, like, I don't know.
I agree that it's not a good look.
It-
Like,
it's hard to explain
yeah.
what was wrong, and they've pulled the video. Actually, I looked
did.
that up on their channel.
Yeah.
So yeah, in the 14-minute video, the CEO and co-founder attempts to establish a timeline event and official actions accompanied by, oops, I lost my track of that. Accompanied by the chief business officer and head of human resources and their attorney. The editing and handheld filming style match the company's Worm Life series, which usually take a humorous and lightly scripted approach to capturing work culture within the company. At the beginning, they states it views any allegation of proper conduct, including not limited to sexual assault, as a significant allegation, takes it very seriously. I'm trying to remember. I was trying to see if they went into any detail about maybe. Yeah. So, but yeah, like I said, it was the press release was fine, the story was fine, but then it was just like when they, and the problem with it is the kind of lackadaisy attitude that they had in, or at least Doug had in the video, was the very same reason that when I heard the story at first, I was like, that makes sense, because it just established the kind of.
I think I had
it was the tone.
I had a different vibe. I watched it as someone being like, oh man, it must be so hard to deal with HR in a world where like social media works.
Well, I'm talking
Like,
about before I saw the video.
But yeah, so
I'm saying
I saw
like
the
the
video
tone
first.
of their other videos.
Yeah.
You know, where you hear Doug talk all the time about how he
Safety
hates
search.
running a business, and he
Yeah.
doesn't want to be like regular corporate America and this and that. So when I heard the first allegation, I was like, I can see that because he talks all the time about this. And then the video kind of, you have that similar tone of, this is how an HR would do this. And I think even the HR guy there was like, we shouldn't be filming this.
Yeah.
And so,
So I didn't watch it as an HR thing. I watched it as watching someone respond personally to someone being mad at him on the internet, which is probably not what you should do. But that was more of the vibe that I got.
it just goes back to, you got to remember you represent the company. So what you say, even if it's a personal opinion.
Would you have just not made a statement?
No,
Or
no, no.
not
I think
made
the
a video?
yes, I don't
Yeah.
think the video should have been made.
I don't think that I feel the need to comment on it. Like, it just is messy and sad all around.
Yeah.
And like the person who got assaulted isn't making comments about it, right? This is
We don't know who it is.
so the
and
person
it's,
who had brought it up is the person who was making a hostile work environment.
Correct.
And they wanted to bring it back up.
correct. And it turns out there was like a third party that brought it up. And then somebody, when it started becoming a stink, the employee was like, oh, by the way, that was me.
Yeah.
And
That-
so they told it to somebody, and then somebody posted it online, and,
It just feels like shit stirring to shit stir. Like no
Right.
one is a good guy, or no one can make a good response to this. It also sucks that someone got assaulted there. Like,
Right.
and the comments are more, I don't know. Ugh, I don't like it. Ugh.
yeah. So let's move on now. Sorry, when I laugh at my own jokes, at least it's a decent one. So in this next story, Paizo announced that they will not allow AI-generated submissions into their products. They said, we'll leave the bad decision-making to Wizards of the Coast.
Oh. Wow.
Is Wizard of the Coast allowing AI stuff in?
No, but it was
Oh.
just...
Just bad decisions.
Yeah.
It was
No,
just-
I was
Yeah, that was the joke.
gotcha.
That's the joke. Deep.
So, Paizo, the Seattle-based gaming company known for Pathfinder and Starfinder, has announced its stance in the use of AI-generated content, because this has become a big buzz. Like,
with the kids' books on Amazon.
well, that, and like there are some news articles I've seen where it's like you can tell this was probably AI written.
Yeah.
In a statement released on Wednesday, the company cited the ethical and legal issues surrounding AI-generated art and writing prompts, the potential threat they pose to the livelihoods of traditional artists. It will stipulate that all works submitted for publication must be created by a human. It's taking a firm stance that customers expect a human touch to their releases. Yeah, it comes at a time when there's been a surge in interest and quality of algorithm-generated imagery and text. So yeah, that makes total sense to me, and I think it's a good thing that they said that. Mainly because A, you get the nice PR bump there,
Yeah.
and B, it's kind of one of those stating like, hey, we've got an expectation of quality from people, and we're firm on that.
So is this by submissions? Do they mean So can people submit like?
They get submissions
game
for
materials?
artwork and module stuff all the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think they have like an open submission policy.
Okay. Got it. Okay. And then I guess they just like they pick things to buy from.
I believe
these
so.
Creators. And
I'm not going to pretend to know how the inside and outs there. I would imagine they probably farm out more artwork than they do the writing, because I imagine a lot of the writing is done in house, and they probably have a bunch of artists, but I would imagine that they farm out to get because usually you have to generate a lot of art for these different kind of projects.
You saying you're wondering how they're going to screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be hard.
I would imagine, I mean, it'll come, like, it says, I don't know if they'll have to screen, but it's written in their contracts. So
If they find out.
if they
post.
find out, then you're going to get sued.
Got it.
That's the way it is.
So now-
Yeah,
I'm-
WotC will
I'm-
definitely jump on the AI train if they can.
Anything.
So now my question is, so like AI generated writing prompts, that's just like 2 sentences.
Yeah.
And then if so, like the website we were screwing around with years ago, who the F is my D&D character.com,
Right.
it like is like as long as I still write the story, I
Correct.
can just get an idea from somewhere, right?
Correct.
Okay.
But you're not submitting the idea to Paizo. You would be submitting the work that you made.
From the idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
They don't want you to chat GPT it.
Yeah. Like
Well,
chat
and, like,
chat
I completely
GPT, you
understand
could
that.
yeah.
I was just because like it says right in there writing prompts, and I'm like,
Mm.
that's an idea. Like,
It might be they may ask for submissions that's like ideas for them to go off of, and they don't want those to be because maybe I again this is I
okay,
don't know.
so they don't want me to just like submit 12 things in a row from who's my D&Dcharacter.com.
Correct.
Okay. They want me to like click on it once and then write a backstory about that idea.
Yeah, or it could be like when you write the email that says this is what my adventure module is, you're literally copying pasting the writing prompt that you got from Chat GPT or whatever. That sure you may have written something, but the elevator pitch you're giving them is something that was AI generated,
Gotcha.
You could easily just reword that stuff. It's a weird place.
Yeah.
I do
Is this
see
the
that
whole, like, is
I
this
s-
the whole like, yeah, you can copy my homework but change the answers a little bit?
Yes. I imagine that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But like me personally, I understand this where people are getting but especially when it comes to like artwork, I see this as a great tool for small independent companies that maybe don't have the budget to afford artists. And like say you yourself write up a module, you don't have a budget for an artist, you go do some AI generated work.
Just depends on
Put
what the
some-
AI is trained on. Like
Right.
if it's trained on artists that didn't
Yeah.
agree.
Oh
then-
yeah, that's another ethical question in general.
Mm.
Then maybe you get some money and you can actually afford to do better art. But it's like you got to start somewhere.
And if AI is trained on art that artists have been paid for, then
Correct.
you're great because you're paying the artist and you're making some cool, inexpensive art.
That's true.
This
The
person
AI
does not
tech
exist.
becomes sufficiently advanced, people will use it. Oh yeah,
Oh.
definitely.
Yeah, it's scary, especially with the new AI tech that can better modulate and like fake voices. I feel like
Oh
that's
my
gonna make
God.
life really hard.
Like there's the like. I saw one, I've been hearing someone on TikTok where it's like people faking other people playing video games, where it's
Yeah.
like the different U.S. presidents
Yeah.
playing Fortnite or something.
Oh.
Yes. First off, I love those videos.
They're great, but
They are hilarious.
the ideas really scare me for when I'm in my 80s and I'm like, how will I
Yeah.
know things are real?
Yeah, we were just talking about.
We
this.
were.
I heard somebody talk about that, but then it comes back to
Media literacy.
that, and also like we've had Photoshop forever.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This has been. It's just this is a new aspect of a current problem.
Agreed. I think it's a little bit harder though when you don't know
Mhm.
coding, you don't know how to like properly go back and figure out if something is real or not when you're listening to an audio file.
Right.
Like I don't know how to tear apart an audio file.
I know,
can
but
look
I'm-
at a JPEG and figure out
Not
that things are
necessarily.
blurred.
There are some things where like people have photoshopped really, really
That's
well.
true.
And so sometimes you'd be like, "Oh, that's true," and then the person that maybe is the subject goes, "That's fake," and you go, "Well, I guess I gotta have to take
That's
their
fair.
word for it." That's kind of the same route you have to go, where somebody goes like, "No, that wasn't me." All right.
I agree. I think it's just scary. I mean, Photoshop's scary. This scary.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to figure it out.
All right, moving on. It's going to be pretty easy to make the next game we're going to talk about here the butt of a joke. And that is, it's a card game, Butts on Things. Is a card
Fantastic.
game about items that look like arses. See, this is one of those stories that like would easily get knocked off, and I was like, this is too good not to
We
talk
need this.
about.
Do you see
Oh,
that
we need
coffee
that,
pot
yeah.
with the booty?
Uh-huh.
It's fantastic.
A new card game challenges players to match cards and depicting various items that look like butts. Look, there's a butt toilet paper roll. Butts on Things is an upcoming game that is 2 to 4 players spending about 20 frantic minutes looking at R-shaped objects on cards. During the fast-moving game, players will be laying down cards within a grid with all players working on the same shared grid. As players lay down their butt cards, they'll be keeping an eye out for any cards that have matching illustrations on. If a row or column ever begins and ends with matching cards, players will want to quickly capture that row or column for themselves. So it kind of reminds me of that Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza. Every time I bring up this story, Rusted Beetle is just disgusted with it. Like,
He doesn't
who
like
would play? Who goes wants a filler game and says I want this? And I was like, who doesn't want that as a filler game? Like, am I in the wrong groups?
I love how the tagline is, it's the cheek to
The
cheek
cheek
card
to
game.
cheek card game.
Fantastic. It's tiny. The art's cute.
Now, I will say that this looks like something that could have been an idea that could have been AI generated.
I was gonna say, is this AI art?
Yeah.
Chat GPT,
Also,
give
the
me
U
Donuts
in
with
the-
butt.
give me
The
a
U in
photo.
the title.
Huh? Oh,
The
the U in the title looks like a butt too.
Oh,
I need a coffee pot that looks like a butt. That was it. I don't have anything else to say.
it's fantastic.
Moving on.
Excited to play
There's
it.
no price yet, but when there is, we're picking it up.
$69.99.
Do you need practice for bringing home all those new board games from the next con? This next board game is for you. It's called Stack and Stuff. Lookout Games will release a patchwork spinoff into U.S. retail. Philip, this is your job as a, or almost,
Right.
almost. You're not filling the
yep.
trucks.
Nope, I just give them to you.
Lookout Games will release Stack and Stuff, a patchwork game, into retail on February 24th, 2023. So it's already out. This is one of those stories that was a little old. Players assume the roles of movers trying to find a way to pack up a moving truck. They have to pack up the truck in a cost-effective and efficient manner before daylight runs out. On each turn, the last player on the time track chooses one of 3 furniture items. They have to pay transportation costs and spend the loading time. Then they get a patch for their truck game board. Player who packs the truck the best and earns the most money wins. So
Nice. It's only 2 players?
yeah.
This game is for 2 players, ages 6 and up.
Yes. Well, the original patchwork was 2 players. So that makes sense.
Oh, okay.
Plays about 30 minutes. Retails for $29.99.
Did they show you what the board looks like? Is it like a patchwork board?
I don't know. Not in this article, but I'm sure we could find out.
Mm.
But patchwork is great. Have y'all played patchwork?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, right? No, I'm thinking of Azul.
It's got the
It's got the
it's
Tetris-y
got the
board
fabric
shapes.
scraps with like buttons on
Maybe
them.
I have played it. Guys, I hit my new high score in Tetris today. 654,422 points.
Nice.
That's pretty high.
It felt great. Anyway,
What was your previous?
640 something thousand.
Whew.
It felt really good.
What are you playing on? Just on your phone?
Tetris
Computer.
on a computer.
Ah.
And like,
Can you imagine playing on a phone?
no.
My God.
And yes, Jimmy is on a mic. He was just being quiet.
I don't know if I
Sorry.
can hear you into my headphones. Can you hear him? In
I
your
can hear
headphones?
him.
Okay, cool.
Cool. Maybe I'll put my
Just
mouth
yell more.
on the microphone.
That is usually the approach.
Cool.
He's got to eat the mic.
Gotta eat the mic.
Anyway, I think that
Eat the
Stack and
mic.
Stuff will be really fun. I
Yeah.
like games with tetronominos.
I got Patchwork if you want to take that and play
I
it.
wonder.
It's also an app on the phone.
Oh, fun.
Yeah,
I
but
wanna,
I know
like-
Rusted
I wa-
Beetles played a lot of Patchwork. What was that, Philip?
I want to like contact this company and be like, hey, you should pitch that maybe U-Haul should.
Yeah,
carry this
U-Haul
game
should-
in the stores.
That requires a licensing fee, though.
Could be fun.
Okay.
You know, it could be fun to have a moving truck themed board game in the moving truck store.
Yeah. Or just even carry it, yeah.
Yeah, see.
Do you want to have one more thing to carry between your moves? Buy this game.
All
If you buy
right.
this game, you get to use the moving blankets for free.
We've hid one in every moving blanket.
Buy a moving blanket, it comes with a board game.
There
Mhm.
you go.
Hey, you get the regular truck for this price, but if you upgrade to the larger truck, we'll throw in this board game.
There you,
You
go.
could just rent the truck, keep it in the parking lot, play the game in the back of the truck for
Oh.
ambiance.
Ambiance. That sounds like a great video idea.
And Phil
If we had decent money for
There we
this,
go.
I would do that. I would seriously do that as a video.
and then me and Phil are gonna put it on expert mode while you guys play, and you have to play on the lift gate, and we're just gonna lift the lift gate back and forth, up and down.
No.
Yeah,
play in the truck while it's driving
Expert mode. I
around.
also say expert mode is playing it while the truck is driving.
Oh no. Phil, does
Not
U-Haul
allowed,
have
but-
trucks with lift gate?
No.
Okay, then I never mind.
Yeah,
I will.
they advertise the low to the ground, so you don't need a lift gate.
Mm.
We have a ramp.
You know, I call U-Haul Ooh-Howl.
Ooh, how
Anyway, next.
What do you
Next.
call Penske?
Penske.
Oh.
Pin Sky. All right, this next game could be the apex of video game adaptations.
Oh.
Apex Legends is coming to be a board game.
What does that man have a crow?
Yeah, apparently.
Pretty cool.
I know Apex. This is another one of those I had to throw it in because Apex Legends is popular. I've never played it. It's a battle royale game.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shooter.
Erica Ishii is in it.
Oh,
Mhm.
is that Erica in the front middle?
It might be. I don't know.
Nice.
Yeah, so Glass Cannon Unplugged has announced a long-term licensing partnership with Electronic Arts and Respawn Entertainment to produce a tabletop adaptation of the shooter game Apex Legends.
Can we take a break and just appreciate all of their names? Can you go back up there? Respawn Entertainment, fantastic.
Glass Cannon Unplugged.
So good.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't have much to say about it.
So there
yeah,
is-
May 17th is
So
when the
it's a board
Kickstarter.
game? Does it say it's going to be cooperative, or I mean, why would it be cooperative? It's a battle royale, right?
Yeah, it's a team versus team miniatures game.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah,
oh,
Is,
miniatures. Okay.
In
That makes
Apex, you can be a 3-man team, 3-person team.
Oh, have you actually played Apex?
No, I watched Stone Mountain 64 stream it. back when he would stream it.
Of course, Philip has any experience on
I
this.
appreciate that, Phil.
He's more Warzone right now.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna move on. When Pirates code, is that considered the C of Thieves, or is it C++?
Best joke of the night.
I didn't know if anybody would get that one.
Yeah, it's code.
So
code.
Steamforged Games,
Code.
Steamforged Games confirms Sea of Thieves board game in collaboration with Rare. So
Sea of Thieves. So yeah, this was the video game.
the video game, the MMO.
the MMO. That's right.
Inciting news for fans of the popular video game Sea of Thieves. They've confirmed they're developing a board game based on the pirate theme game in collaboration with Rare. As I'm gonna scroll down, see Sea of Thieves video game, which was developed by Rare and released in 2018, has amassed a dedicated following thanks to its immersive world and the fact that it's free on Xbox Game Pass. Exciting gameplay and unique pirate-based setting. Toast that one with a cup of java.
No, that's a good one.
It is good. It promises to capture the same sense of adventure and exploration that made the video game so popular. Players will take on the roles of pirates and navigate the high seas, battling rival crews, discovering treasure, and facing off against terrifying sea monsters.
Kind of sounds like your standard pirate board game.
Correct.
I mean, nothing will be as good as Seafall.
Never.
Go die in a fire. No,
Um,
this might actually be good versus
Yeah. So, what's the game we played that had the app companion?
Yeah.
Sea of Legends.
Sea of
That one was great.
Legends.
That was good.
So the way this is described makes it seem a lot like
Correct.
that, which
The
was
art
fine.
is similar
Which
looking.
I
too.
would be fine with.
Right.
It's just Sea of Thief has a brand name attached to it, so it will get that buzz.
Yeah.
It will get that buzz.
Get that buzz.
Yeah.
Steamforge Games, the games I've played, they've done pretty good job of translating video games to board games so far.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
That's the Horizon Zero Dawn. That's
Okay.
them. I don't think, Philip, you didn't play the Resident Evil game that I talked about on here. No, I don't think you did. I think I played that with other people. But yeah. So
Cool.
that's my hope, is that it is kind of like that, in that same vein as that that Sea of Legends game.
I enjoy one of those story things. You go to
And-
this space, you get a story card. You get to
Correct.
make
That's
a decision.
That's the fact that it's kind of like, unlike some of these other games which are like RPGs turned into games, or like dungeon crawl kind of things. This is like an MMO type
yeah.
game, so I'm hoping there's that exploration and kind of story piece as a part of the game.
Right.
So, all right. Speaking of pirates, I know that this next story is probably referring to the pirate black flag, but I just wanted to note that, and keep in mind as I'm reading this next story, that in NASCAR, a black flag means that a car needs to be penalized or fixed because it's too dangerous to proceed. Now, having said that, Cobalt Press has announced that they are doing Project Black Flag, which is aiming to improve 5e Dungeons and Dragons.
Huh. Interesting. So what, they want to
Are
put
they
out their
making
own
a
version?
companion, or like just their own system, where they're like, it's going to be better than D&D, but it's not D&D. It's legally distinct.
I think the answer is yes to both of those questions,
Okay.
based on what I read in here. They have a new project called Project Black Flag, which is designed to improve the popular 5th edition of Dungeons and Dragons. The company released its first playtest packet on Monday, which generated a lot of interest and questions from the community. In response to the overwhelming demand, they released a design diary explaining the purpose and goals of the project. The primary objective is to challenge the monopoly of the current version of Dungeons and Dragons and provide a better alternative. The team believes that the current 5e system is fantastic, but it can still be improved. The project aims to maintain the best aspects of 5e while adding new and necessary changes that make it better for both players and game masters. Soon to be renamed as Project Booty.
So
So are they pulling a Pathfinder?
I believe
Yeah.
they're pulling a Pathfinder.
Okay.
I was gonna say, I mean, it
What is-
kind of seems like, every other RPG system could be said to trying to, I don't know, just do something different
Correct.
and provide a different or perhaps superior experience to Dungeons and Dragons.
The difference here is that, aside from Wizards of the Coast, almost nobody puts out more 5e content than Cobalt Press.
I was going to say, what else is Cobalt Press?
Cobalt
done?
Press,
They've done a lot.
basically, and if you were to look up like the top selling 5e games or 5e books, and you crossed out all the Wizards of the Coast ones, the next ones are going to be Cobalt Press.
Okay.
Like there's there was the book, that the third party book that our GM Chris had, that had all the magical items in it.
Gotcha.
That was Cobalt Press. Let's see. I could just let's open up their website and see. There we go. Let's see if I can get. But they do like the Tome of Beasts, and let's see. They also do like the Kobold's Guide to like world building and stuff, and Kobold's Guide to Tome of Beasts, Lairs, campaign builders, cities and towns.
So they got a bunch of resources that go with 5e.
Correct.
But now they want to make their own
Correct.
system. Okay.
Yep. And they're like, so they're basically like, 5e's good, but we think we could do it better.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I always love when people add little homebrew additions to any sort of system that they're doing. So I was just more wondering, like, with the new D&D, like, rules around selling homebrewed stuff, are
Correct.
they trying to get that out before
That's
things,
part of the reason of them doing this, probably.
to get it out fast?
Or is just to say that, like, we don't want it to be where Wizards can do that kind of stuff anymore, and everyone just has to, everyone stood up against it.
Take it.
Yeah, exactly. We want to make, and the other thing is they have, it's not the name, they don't have the scope that like Wizards of the Coast would have, but if it's close enough to 5e, they've got the brand name, they've got a customer base already, because their Kickstarters get overfunded all the time.
Yeah.
And they've already said that all their stuff's going to go on that new open RPG license thing that they're doing, that them and Paizo are doing. So, yeah, when the gravy train caught fire, people decided it was time to get their own wagons. So, if it's similar enough to D&D and it's, already got a decent fan base, which means you've already got GMs that are going to teach it to other people. It's like, hey, let's play this new game. Oh, is it? I don't want to play Pathfinder. I don't want to play, Powered by the Apocalypse. No, it's literally 5e, but it's slightly different.
Yeah.
It's 5e, but
legally distinct.
we got rid of rules, or like for instance, some of the changes are lineages and heritages. So like the removal of ability score increases, a new talent system to replace feats. So we're talking small behind the scenes type changes, where like your background isn't tied to,
Gotcha.
like the example I like to use. Philip and I talked about this a while back when Wizards did this for D&D in some of the source books, where like your physical prowess or your physical abilities shouldn't be based on your race is the argument. And like I would offer up as proof is like me and Michael Phelps are both humans. I definitely don't have any like my capabilities are far different than his.
You weren't born with arms or hands that just go down to your knees?
Yeah, exactly.
That man's long.
Yeah, 5e adjacent. That's a good term.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm excited to see what they come up with.
All right. I woke up this morning to find my cats being flung across my living room. That's what I get for building a catapult.
Cool.
Yeah.
Again, this is another one. It was hard not to put in because it's just kind of like, what? Popular board game Catapult Feud, which this just shows how out of touch I am with board games, as I've never heard of this game before, but apparently it's popular. Board game,
like a 3-piece
sounds
set going
like
on back there too, man.
Rusted Beetle's mom is stronger than Andre the Giant. Good job, Mom.
They do not come with the same strength
Yeah,
bonus.
she's stronger.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I get it. But popular board game Catapult Feud to become animated series.
Oh.
Board game enthusiasts and animation fans alike are they really eagerly anticipating? Because this is the first time I heard about this. The upcoming animated TV series Catapult Feud. Vesuvius Media, the publisher of the critically acclaimed board game, is teaming up with animation studio Composition Media to bring the game to life on the small screen. It'll be led by Carl Reed, co-founder of Lionforge Animation, which I think that's a serious studio. Like, this isn't just, we got some off-name people to draw a thing. It won the prestigious, Catapult Feud won the prestigious Australian Toy Association's Game of the Year in 2022. The game allows players to build their castles out of plastic bricks, place their troops, load the catapults, and use cunning tactics to knock down their opponent's troops with other boulders. We may have to get this game. This actually sounds like a game that's up our alley, Philip.
Yes, it does. I'm on Lionforge Animation's website.
Yeah.
I've never heard of any of their work.
Oh, okay.
Are we thinking of Lions Gate
Could be.
not Lions
Could be.
Forge?
Well, because these and just like looking at some of these appear to all be geared toward
Kiddos?
elementary, middle school.
That makes sense. Based on the rest of this, I do not think this is for adults. Intended.
Okay, I mean, we're gonna buy the game anyway.
Yeah.
Well, no. The series.
They're like, let's
Yeah.
teach children about physics
Yeah.
and also catapults.
The animated series follows two feuding families, the Cunningfields and the Chauffeur,
Cunningfields.
who use catapults and conspiracies to conquer each other and rule the kingdom of Catapultia.
Fantastic.
Yes, that's why I got suckered into this game. So wait, Rob, do you have this game? Because I need to play this. You need to message me. Because if I know somebody that has this, even better. Despite their parents' inability to get along, the next generation of Cunningfields and Chauffeurs have a plan to bring peace to their warring families. This sounds like Romeo and Juliet almost.
I was just going there. I was like, please do not do that.
Two houses alike in dignity, with catapults the same.
It doesn't say where. Like, I was kind of. I got some buzz about this in my inbox. I was kind of expecting. Them to announce where it was gonna be. You know, like, oh, we got this picked up by Netflix or Hulu or something.
Yeah. Well, maybe
But I
they
don't
still-
see that yet.
Maybe they still have to sell
It's
it.
not been the release date has not been announced. So, but maybe it's sure to be a hit. Oh, apparently the art is inspired by Monty Python, the board game.
Very
I
fun.
like
I
it.
remember seeing a board game, not a board game. There was no board, but at PAX there was like a game where you had a cannon. Sorry, do I need to move it closer? There was a cannon that you shot little wooden, I think like little wooden cannonballs at your opponent's pirate ship or something. So this seems pretty similar.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So,
it's
if
kinda
anything,
cool
this
that you get
just
to build your own castle.
It looks like in the game you kill people, so I wonder if in the kids show you kill people.
well, I mean, you knock them over.
Okay, fair,
No, it's
fair.
gonna be
Maybe
like
they're
Pokemon.
not.
Everybody faints.
Maybe they're non-lethal catapults
Yeah.
in the TV show.
No one wants to be picked up by Netflix unless you want one season before being canceled.
Fair.
Hey, if it means more copies of this board game being sold, like they just sold me on it, and I hadn't heard about this beforehand. And it's entirely possible this was popular somewhere else. Like it did say it won an
Australia.
Australian award.
Yeah.
So that is entirely I will say that it's popular. It's entirely possible it's popular here, and I just never heard of it because I'm just out of touch on things. But we'll see. Okay. I threw this next story in specifically for y'all because we literally had this conversation last time you were on here
Well, I
before
hope
the
we
show.
like it.
This next game is creating quite the buzz over on BGG, and that is, ladies and gentlemen, we have a new #1 board game on Board Game Geek, and that is Brass Birmingham.
Wow.
Good times.
Now, when you said buzz, I thought you were going to say Brass is coming out with a beekeeping.
No,
and
I was
honey trading.
going with like the
Oh.
beer buzzed.
Yeah, well,
How cool would that be?
Yeah, now I'm disappointed. So thanks a lot, Chris.
So that said, I'll note that games tend to flip-flop in positions on the BGG rankings when the difference in the Geek ranking is less than 100th of the point. So Gloomhaven and Brass Birmingham likely swap spots for a while. But yeah,
And Gloomhaven's still up there, huh?
it's still up there. It's #2. So that's what he's saying. They'll
Yeah.
kind of move back and forth. But I've also been seeing that people trying to flip that on purpose, like they'll rate down Gloomhaven
Oh,
to
boy.
keep it so Brass is on top because some people hate things when they're popular.
Yeah,
Um,
people get really worked up about.
I thought this was weird just because it kind of came out of nowhere. Like I've not been hearing more buzz about, and it's not like this game. Like a lot of times, it's when a game first comes out and it just slowly starts moving up. This came out. It's been in the top 10 or 20 for a while, and just suddenly started eking its way up up there. I just thought that was strange.
Yeah, because it's
Like this is
what,
this
4 or
game's
5 years
5 years old. 2018. So just out of nowhere. 5-year-old game comes and it's like, boop, I'm #1
It's
now.
a bit wild.
Look at me. I'm #1 now.
Maybe they switched around what the rating system is. Didn't you say it's kind of opaque? People don't know what the rating, how the ranking
Or
works.
it could be that just like a lot of people bought it. Like maybe it was. I mean,
Christmas?
it could be as simple. It could be Christmas. It could be that Roxley Games had a sale on their website,
Fair.
and so a lot more people got it. A lot more people reviewed it and rated it, and so that pushed it over.
We didn't play enough Brass. I feel like I played 2 games of Brass and then didn't play it again. If you ever
Yeah.
want to play again, I'm in.
I don't have any more.
Oh well,
Mm.
we'll
That
have
was
to
one
buy
of
it.
those that went off that went on. It was
Very
one of
fair.
those that was like I don't because it was I kept Lancashire
Yeah.
because I did like that game, but it was one of those like I am not gonna be in the headspace anytime soon to play this.
To make what is it, like a means of moving your beer around?
Yeah, well, no, I never had Birmingham. We borrowed that
Okay.
and tried that out. But Lancashire was the one that was just the iron and coal.
Gotcha.
Okay. That was the first one.
That was the first
darker
one.
cover.
The darker cover.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Birmingham is the lighter cover.
Correct.
Well, fun. Good job, Brass.
Well done. What can I say? I'm happy for them. They put out an amazing game. Doing good.
All right. When AI gets together, decides to overthrow us, will that be considered a Robo Rally?
Yeah.
So Robo Rally, it's coming back.
When did it go away?
It's one of those that it goes out of print all the time, and
Oh.
like, people just stop making it.
This looks like a mix between Robo Wars and Beyblades.
You've seen this game and probably didn't realize you were seeing said game.
Fair. Is it Beyblades?
So, journey back with me to Gen Con.
Okay.
Okay.
Which
and
one?
Any of them.
Okay.
It's been there every single time.
All right.
When you go into the, if you go in the front door, that's the corner where like the help desks are
Okay.
Okay.
of the convention center,
Yes.
and right by the escalator, there'd always be a giant board on the ground with like what look like Lego robots on it.
Yes.
Then like there'd be like there'd be Wall-E
Mhm.
as one of them. There'd be like the Android symbol for like the operating system and a bunch of other stuff. That was a giant size Robo Rally
Oh,
game.
that's
Okay.
fun.
So
Are you just trying to knock people out of the box?
I've never played it, but I believe it is a racing game where you like pre-program in moves.
You pre-program it. So I stood behind a couple people and looked at their because they all get phones
right.
to control the things. There are movement and I saw some kind of attack mechanism as well.
Oh.
So yeah, I knew Rusty Beetle had said this before, but yeah, Robo Rally is probably his favorite board game. So I never played to win the rally. I played to be the last spot standing.
Nice.
Yeah. So this game has been around for years.
Cool.
It was owned by Hasbro, I think Avalon Hill maybe. But recently, Renegade Game Studios got the rights to redo and republish a lot of games. Like they now publish Axis and Allies under their brand, even though it's technically a Hasbro
Property.
game. But yeah, new edition of the classic board game into retail in August 2023. It was the responsible for bringing together former Wizards of the Coast Peter Atkinson and Richard Garfield for the first time in the early days of Wizards of the Coast. So this predates Magic the Gathering. The new version of this competitive game comes out under the Renegade banner and features new bells and whistles like 6 pre-painted robot miniatures and over 80 different race courses. The new game also includes options for short and long course races, as well as race courses with different difficulty levels. Game is for 2 to 6 players and for $50. This has been on my my to play list forever because I've heard people talking about it forever, and I've just never gotten around to playing it. Mainly because like the versions are always so old, so that always gets me. Like I'm a person where aesthetic
Yeah.
Right.
matters.
Yeah.
So
So Beetle and or Phil, it says that it has what is it? Pre-programmed like cards. Are you just picking a couple different cards and like locking those
Yeah,
in and
so-
those
Yeah,
are
the
the
way-
abilities you get?
yeah, the
Yep.
way I understood
Yeah,
is like
so there is a
you-
track on there,
yeah.
and like the robots have to maneuver the track, and even the tracks have like you hit this thing, and all of a sudden your robot automatically takes it turns and goes away you didn't want to go. There was something about like running into another robot either completely damages or destroys.
So you have to like think about what that everybody else is gonna do and like plan a couple turns out,
Cool.
and then you like run the program to see like, okay, now I'm gonna move this way and move that way.
That's exciting.
Yeah, and there were plenty of times when like the guys would be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna attack this guy," and in initiative order, he got to go first. So you just like
It's not
fire
there
a
anymore.
missile
Yeah.
into a wall. Boom, nothing. That was
So
great.
for a second, I thought that these were like actual robots and you were like programming their IR.
so
That's
did I.
not it. It's
That's
just cards.
That's the way
In
the
the giant version
the
of
giant
Gen Con.
version
Okay.
is.
Cool. That sounds very fun.
Yeah, that's what. Yes, the giant version of Gen Con is that way.
Cool.
All right. Last one. So, here we go. Two Magic the Gathering stories here, just because it's kind of hard not to talk about Magic the Gathering. Magic the Gathering revives 14-year-old multiplayer format plane chase as a commander offshoot. I just want to let people know out there because there are potentially people in this community that used to play Magic back in the day, and they're like, ooh, plane chase, that was fun. Well, you can get it again, or you
Cool.
will be able to.
Can you scroll down just a little bit?
Yep.
That art is so cool. I love that her hair is fire.
Oh, yeah, Chandra.
Chandra?
Chandra Nalar,
You're
Yeah.
cool. Who's the other person? they a
I
cat?
don't
Looks like-
know.
looks like Sylvanas.
It does kind of look like Sylvanas. All right, so 1 sec.
Man, though, if your hair was fire and you're wearing full plate from the top up, you're gonna get hot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And by top up, I mean waist up.
Okay. So, West Side of the Plans. Mice, you are shot, shoved, spun, dropped, etc., and then your bots keep following the programs right into a pit.
Oh no.
So, basically, they are putting out the way Wizards is doing this, they're putting out a new set of commander decks, and each one of these decks will include 10 oversized plane chase cards. And the way this works is like each card, the way plane chase works is you have to like capture so many planes to win, but each plane has like a special thing, like it twists the rules in a specific way, where it's like maybe you draw 2 cards there at the beginning of your turn, or you have to discard a card at the end of your turn, or something. I'm making this up, but that's the way. So it offers some variety. It used to be its own separate format, but now they're just bringing in the cards so that you could play it in the commander format.
Cool.
So, but more importantly, Lord of the Rings comes to Magic the Gathering, a new set, Tales of Middle-earth. This is interesting because Wizards has been doing a lot of Worlds Beyond, is what they call it, when this isn't a part of the Magic universe.
Yeah.
We're making Magic cards out of whatever. Like they did 40K, they did
What We Do in the
Walking
Shadows.
Dead. Did they do What We Do
I
in the
think
Shadows?
I saw someone. said
I
they
wouldn't
could
be
play
surprised.
Natasha.
I wouldn't be surprised. This, however, is the first one, and usually the way they do this is it's a separate set of cards that you can get. They're like a special presentation, or maybe they'll make special commander decks like what they did with 40K. This is the first one that is getting a full release. It is going to be a full set of cards.
I mean, it's Lord of the Rings. How can
It
you
is
go
Lord
half?
of the Rings. Yeah. So that means that these will be completely redone cards all the way through.
Do you think that we're going to get Sauron as a werewolf?
Oh, where?
What?
In the Silmarillion, he
Who?
can turn into a werewolf.
Oh.
I thought you.
And
were
they
gonna
took
talk
it out of
about
the show.
I think we'll
thought you
get
were
him
gonna
more
talk
as a
about the Lord of
planeswalker.
Lies thing.
That'd be cool. The what? Oh, the Lord of Lies.
Oh,
That would
I
also
think
sexy Sauron.
I think you're right. I think Phil's right. I think we get him as a planeswalker card.
I mean, yeah, fair.
D&D, oh, that's a good point. D&D had a full set, but I don't think that they considered that Worlds Beyond, since that's also Hasbro owned.
Oh,
I think
okay.
that's the distinction there. I think they just treated D&D as like another plane in the Magic universe. Considering a lot of the Magic
sense.
Considering a lot of the Magic universes are in D&D as other planes, so that's probably why they mean the first full set for Worlds Beyond. Of course, nowadays, like I had somebody explain this to me, but they have so many options. Like they have set boosters and draft boosters, and I don't even like I think the way it was explained to me is like draft boosters are more like the way that they used to be, like booster wise, but set boosters have more rares in them because it was designed when everybody was doing their streams, people opening up cards, so you could just open up cards and it would look cool, and it's not 50 million commons. I think that's how it goes. So, anyways, that was it.
Cool.
Congrats. We ended News-A-Palooza, and you all survived.
Still here.
Everybody gets 5 XP. Level up.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
All right, Philip, why should people back us on Patreon?
Patreon. You all should back us on Patreon because there are bonus bits. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but we goof off, we talk, we have a good time. You see what's going on here on the show. That's what would you say, Quist? That's only like 12% of the shenanigans we get into is actually broadcast to the general public.
Very true.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
very true.
you got to head to patreon.com/boardsandswords or boardsandswords.com/Patreon. All right, Mr. Chris over there coded that up properly. It goes to the same place
Same place.
at the same time. And
Philip,
back us for what's up?
I'm gonna throw. So Philip's saying what he's gonna
Doesn't go
say
there
is you can
anymore?
back us as little as $1, but Philip, I'm gonna tell you an idea right here on the spot. I'm doing this live. So I believe I want to say it's at the $100 level. We have that. I think it's like every other month or a quarterly. We're gonna do like a game day where like we'll play with patrons and do roll and rights or board game arena or something. I had an idea, and this is just too good not to do, and that is if we hit that $100 level, what I want to do in addition to, so as a part of that, like some days it might be that, but some days I want to have watch-along streams. So we did that commentary video for that 90s show. We can load a Discord channel up. That we have a Discord channel that's just for patrons. We can load up stuff. There are things I want to watch as a group now as an adult that, like, for instance, the 66 Batman movie. I think that would be a blast to watch with people. I've been playing a lot of BattleTech. I think streaming the 90s BattleTech show would be hilarious. And to kind of like, Mystery Science Theater, that would be amazing. And we'd have everybody that could chat in the thing. It'd be Philip and I probably talking, and then having people in the chat. I think that'd be great. And then I could record it so that, if you can't watch along live, you can watch it after the fact. Maybe there might be issues with that. I don't know. Maybe just the audio. Probably that.
Maybe just the audio, yeah.
So, yeah, that's a new thing. And some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
Yeah.
You probably have no idea any of the stuff I'm talking about. Exactly.
I know the bomb thing.
Which means we might have to have you guys on there to watch at least one of these things. I won't make you do all of them. You might have to sit through the Batman 66, Adam West Batman.
I've seen the bomb scene. That's enough, right?
Is that the nipples one?
No.
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
No,
this is the skin tight, like Robin's wearing shorty shorts like up to
Yeah.
here.
I can get down with that.
Yeah.
But we didn't have a second episode in February, so I didn't get to promote this much, but I am going to say it again. Once again, for another thing, if we hit $50 in the next month, though,
Play that.
I am still going to get a
Yes.
group together to play the Valentine's Day module for Dungeon Crawl Classics, which is Love Mutants of Castle Heartache. And I mean, come on now. Like, it's also the fact that this guy looks like Philip
He
right
looks
here.
so much like Philip.
Like, how can we not play this?
That is an
thing
Althorn
is-
if I've ever seen an Althorn.
The thing is, there's no way that's me because he's got a girl.
Oh.
Oh.
Word down.
But it's Althorn. Althorn had girls.
Althorn has all the girls.
He had that the seamstress.
That's right.
Maybe this
Seamstress
is the seamstress. She fell into a vat of goop
And now she got a tentacle tongue.
and webbed hands.
Yeah, yeah. So she can
I
swim
love
for
that
the,
it's done up like it's like a romance
A
novel.
romance novel.
Yeah,
Romance novel,
Brendan
yeah.
LaSalle. So yeah, that only take $1, $1. We just need like 25 people to donate $1, and this boom. I don't even care if you cancel afterwards.
Is that does it say holiday? Holiday module.
Yeah,
number
yeah,
12.
it's the Valentine's Day module
I love.
a level 3 adventure. So we start getting close. I'll start reading the rules.
Does it
There we
say
go, yeah.
love in the age of gong farmers?
What?
Next 2022 Valentine's Day module, love in the age of gong farmers.
Where are you seeing this?
Go slightly to the right with your mouse.
So
Oh.
additional.
Love in the Age of Gong Farmers. You are right about
How
that.
does one farm a gong?
We about to find out.
We about to find out.
This is a level 2 adventure, so we can technically level up and then.
This looks strikingly like what's the board game you don't like?
The board game I don't like.
That has this art style.
I have no idea what this is.
Starts with an M.
I don't
Oh
know.
no, it's one that like there's not a whole. Okay, it'll come to me.
Russell
guys.
says can't unsee Philip in a Bodis Ripper. Right?
Yep.
Did I say
Oh,
right?
a bodice ripper?
Bodice?
Bodice Ripper.
Okay. I'll just let you know how I am. All right. But yeah, so yeah. Ever been dumped so hard you transformed into a bloodthirsty mutant monster? We see you, hero.
The mad
Ungod
ungod
of mortal passion lies heartsick after his romantic advances when ignored by the otherworldly object of his affection. Now his cosmic desolation grips our entire world, separating every lover from their other and threatening to end civilization within a generation. Oh my gosh.
What a beautiful way to write that. Also, I was talking about Munchkin.
Munchkin.
Yep, it
I
had
was
Munchkin
going to
art.
think of the same thing.
Gotcha. Oh, now Philip's going to hang up now.
You like Munchkin, Phil?
It's his like favorite
Ma'am.
game of all time.
I think it's
It
just
is
I don't
the
like
best
gotcha
intro
games.
ever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You like it more than you like Happy Salmon?
Happy Salmon's a great. Okay. Damn it, Corey.
Get out of my house.
You made me think. All right.
It's like your favorite movie. You can't pick a favorite movie. Really.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair. You pick
So,
a
yeah.
top 3.
Boardsandswords.com/Patreon. You need to find some royalty-free 70s porn music for the game. No, we'll just have somebody in the background being like,
And you gotta film it with a blur filter.
and like steam in the background.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, we have to. Oh,
I'll
that
get
would-
dry
no.
ice.
It would take a lot of work, but we would need to have blurs in like the wrong places, like completely unnecessarily.
I'm gonna need so much blur.
Don't use up all
Like
the blur.
we're all just
Philip's
we're
using
just
all the
sitting there,
blur.
We're fine. There's nothing wrong, but like all of a sudden, Chris's shoulder is blurred for just no reason for the next 2 minutes.
Brown chicken, brown cow.
You're gonna do this on a $50 budget?
All right.
Twilight Inscription.
Twilight. So the last part of the show, because we've already gone quite a bit, but we do have another game to talk about. So you want to grab it down there?
Yeah, that's what
Well, I'm gonna pull up some pics on here. And
Hey.
that is the recent game that we've been playing. That is Twilight Inscription from Fantasy Flight Games.
It's only got a 7.7.
Yeah.
rude.
Oh,
Overall, though, it's 957 of all the games.
Okay.
alright.
How many is all the games? Probably a lot.
Top 1,000.
Multiple thousands.
Okay.
Like tens of thousands.
Mm.
Does this have anything to do with vampires and werewolves?
No.
No.
Then I'm out.
You're out? You want it to have something to do with vampires and werewolves?
I was so mad when that scene.
I
where they
know.
were
You
killing each
say
other in
this
the movie-
all the time, anytime I bring it up.
I don't
Bring it
know.
up,
I'm
Chris.
sure that one of the many alien races in this game,
Sucks blood.
sucks blood.
Yeah. There's one that's a bat with no face.
Bat with no face. How do you echolocate?
I've been through the desert with a bat with no face. Also, if you missed the beginning of the stream, you missed Jimmy and I freestyle rapping about board games.
Well, freestyle something about board games.
Freestyle rhyming.
It was rapping
Yeah.
in it with the WRIP.
Yeah. Yep.
To be fair, 10,000 of those games are Monopoly.
Hey.
Although we did play the Monopoly card game. I don't hate
Monopoly
that.
card game.
That's what I've heard.
much
Monopoly
better.
Yeah.
Deal. I've heard that is the best version of
It's a good
Monopoly to
time.
play,
Yeah,
and I've heard it's a tolerable version to play.
it was
Oh, yeah.
tolerable.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is related somehow to Twilight Imperium. So getting back to the actual game, Twilight Imperium. This is Twilight Imperium inspired roll and write.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's the same.
it's
people, right?
it's the same company. Yep.
Yeah.
Fantasy Flight Games.
Fantasy Flight Games.
For 1 to 8 players, 90 to 120 minutes.
and she's
90 to
reading this.
100 minutes.
She's reading this upside down.
I am.
So, yes, it's set in the same universe. It's inspired by, I don't want to say it's Twilight Imperium, the roll and write ish, but
Well, why not?
I guess
It's
yes.
not.
It's not. Yeah.
It's got all the same clans.
So
sorry, does
one of you want to tell us about
does
the
Twilight
game?
Imperium also take place? So this says it takes place at the end of the
Yes.
Lazax Empire.
Yes.
So okay, so yeah, it's Twilight Imperium, the roll and write.
So, do one of you want to talk about the game?
Okay, hear me out. This game, kind of complicated, but
Yeah, you don't need to go like super in depth on how to play, but
something great about this game, there's a lot of rules. So the first time you play, it has a tutorial that brings you through the first 5 to 6 rounds.
Yep.
Which is fantastic because you have to concurrently handle, I would say, 4 different roll and writes at one time.
correct.
There are 4 sheets: navigation, exploration, industry, and war. And you have to choose which sheet you're going to work on every round and do a roll and write, but you're doing 4 at one time. But you also get fun little things like everyone's fighting to get to the capital first, aka Mechatol Rex. And
Which is in Twilight Imperium.
fun. If you get there first, you get more points. If you get there second, you get more points. Also, you get extra votes because there are council meetings where everyone has to debate and choose different rules that will
Effects.
Yep. So
Effects.
I will say that 75% of this game is you're playing the game by yourself. That is the big difference between this and like Twilight Imperium, where Twilight Imperium, and it might be most of that game you're playing by yourself, and then you're occasionally interacting, but it doesn't feel that way. In this, most of the time, you're navigating, you're doing planets to get stuff, you're unlocking things. However, there are the other 25% of the game is the council that you're talking about. So like a card will come up. This is very much like Twilight Imperium, where a card will come up with a new rule or a new law is what they call it. And it's usually beneficial for one type of person or hurtful to one type of person. And everybody votes for or against it. For this thing happens, against this other thing happens instead.
So that's 12.5% of your group time. The
Yeah.
other 12.5 of your group time is war,
Is combat.
which also very fun. You're fighting the person to your left and the person to your right. If it's a 3-player game, everyone's fighting each other.
Yep.
4 or more, then you might not fight with someone who's at your table
Yep.
because just your left and right.
I do like the combat in this because if you screw up and you get or you will not get stuff. Like if you lose, you get minus victory points, like -1 for each fight
Or
you
you
lose.
Yeah.
So, but the way that combat works is there's 4 different sections, and once you complete a combat round, you draw a new line, and all of your builds are from that new line. So basically, everyone kind of starts fresh.
It's a new war.
Yeah, so it's a new war. So you kind of forget everything down below, and you could okay, this time I'm going to focus a little bit more on this sheet.
You do have a limited number of agents or warriors, soldiers you can deploy. Like
Correct.
you can only give 4 of your biggest dudes out,
Right.
and then you're done. But that's the only real limiting factor, I think, in that.
And there's a little bit of a Tetrisy aspect of
Yeah.
each of the. So the way that the combat works is each of the types of ships that you would get in Twilight Imperium, like the cruisers, the dreadnoughts, the war suns, they all have a special shape, and you draw that shape on this grid, and that's I've placed this thing. So if you draw a big war sun, that might limit I won't be able to fit this carrier in because I don't have 3 straight dots in a line to draw.
Which again, us loving Tetris, it's fucking great. What else? There's also in the tutorial they don't have you play with
Factions?
not factions, the end game
Oh yeah.
points.
Objectives. Yep.
Objectives are great because you can feel a bit unmoored playing this. You're like, what am I going to do to get points?
Yeah.
So it gives you a bit of a something to strive for.
And you mentioned factions, so yeah, all 25 of the factions are in this game.
24.
24?
Yep.
Oh, okay. So they didn't have there's a 25th one in the but that was a print and play in the main game, so I guess they must not have brought that one
Ported
over.
it over.
They must not have ported that one over.
Got it.
So and each faction has special rules and things that they tweak.
Yep.
So
And so we've played this game probably 10 times. And it's
Yeah.
been fun and different every time because the factions are
Yeah.
very different from each other.
Yeah.
They give you special
I don't know if
abilities.
it's that different because two of those games I was in, a minimum of two of those games I was in, Jimmy played the same race, and they
Oh.
both ended up very similar.
The Emirates of...
The Emirates of Hakan.
Yes.
Yeah, they're nice. They're the people on the
lions,
front.
yeah.
The lions on
Yeah.
the front.
Yeah, their ability is pretty nice, but like Corey was saying, we've played a lot of different factions, and it doesn't feel like any of them are significantly
Overpowered.
or
Which is nice.
underpowered relative
Yeah.
to the others.
There are kind of minuses to a lot. Like, even if one's super powered, there's like a minus put in there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like one of the ones I played where you get extra, like an extra die roll basically worth of stuff. Also at the same time, you only get it if you go in order of each thing. So like if you need to jump out of order and go do warfare, well, you're not going to get the bonus anymore.
Mhm.
And then you have to... Yeah, that's rough.
But
So you may remember from our PAX Unplugged episode, I talked about a game called Sonora, which was also it was a flick and write.
right.
But that also had 4 different like sheets that you interact with. But so it's kind of reminiscent of this game. I think this game, Twilight Inscription, achieves. There's more synergy, I think, between the sheets because you'll unlock currencies on one sheet
Right.
that you could spend on other sheets. And that's Sonora. That's not really a thing, but
Which that adds into that builds. That's why it looks a little intimidating and confusing,
Yeah.
especially that it's one of those, the first game, you just kind of have to just go with it.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, you're not going to understand what you're doing until the very end.
But once you get it, this game goes fast.
Yeah.
Which is nice. It says 90 to
Unless you're
120
me.
minutes. Yeah. I feel like if you're playing with people who play quickly, you could get this game done in 45 minutes.
Yeah, so that is one difference between this. And although it is different from Twilight Imperium, that this isn't going to take 12 hours to play.
Yeah.
But whereas Twilight Imperium is a long version of a regular board game, this is a long version of a roll and write.
yeah.
How did y'all feel about them orange chalk markers?
I mean, I think it's the right color to
I
choose.
love them.
Based
The right,
on the
yeah,
color
the, yeah,
of
the
sheets.
colors work, but I mean, the chalk markers are a little iffy to me because
They dry out.
they dry out a little bit easier, and like also it's a little bit more work to clean them off.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand it somewhat because it means like if I don't go oops and like
Yeah.
it's not like my entire stuff is gone.
I guess I do worry that. I mean, it probably won't happen for a long time, but if those markers ever dry out, like you're
You-
gonna have to get like neon orange markers.
Yeah.
You can buy
in
them
order
at
to see anything on-
Joann's.
I think I'd skip the chalk markers and just go with like overhead projector markers if you're
You can
gonna
do that,
if you want something that's not like dry erase to where it's
You
easily
just
gonna
get
go.
wet erase.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I feel like that's the route to go if you don't want to go the dry erase. Just get the vis-a-vis.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like
But
this
yeah,
game
fun
a whole
game.
lot.
I think it's $60.
I think it's the only way
And
I'll
it's-
ever play Twilight.
Probably.
1 to 8 players, y'all.
Yeah, it is. Although that would be crazy. So the downside to this is you pretty much anyone you want to teach the game to, and you guys have taught it to somebody.
We taught it with teaching people with the tutorial. We also taught our friend Anelia, who is very board game literate, so it wasn't like throwing a rando in.
right.
But we
Yeah.
taught her without the tutorial. And
How
she,
did that go?
She caught it fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like it seems to me like anyone you'd want to play this, you have to kind of run them through the tutorial, and then like, okay, now we're gonna play. But like, you're not gonna roll up with 8 people and teach them how to play this.
Honestly, I think the tutorial way is the nicer way to do it because
Yeah.
she was definitely overwhelmed, but
yeah.
she was okay.
But yeah, this is now one of my new favorite roll and writes to play. Like I'll reiterate what I said at the beginning of
Yeah.
the show. Whereas there's the 2 kinds of roll and writes for me. Where like overall, Railroad Inc. is probably one of my favorites just because of it's easy to teach people.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's other games where you play them with like your gamery groups.
Yeah.
Previously, that spot was cartographers.
Yeah.
Right.
This now kind of trumps that.
Yeah.
I think this is now my new favorite version of that style of game. Like I still will play cartographers, but I really like this game.
Yeah.
And it does give me the vibes that I do like about Twilight Imperium that I won't. The things I like about Twilight Imperium are in this. They're not as involved as, say, that game. But I'm kind of looking at it on my shelf like, might be time for you to go.
Oh,
Well, just because,
if you're not gonna play it, then
I'm
go.
not going to play it. And if I do want to play it, there's like so many people around in this area that have it.
Very fair.
And
now you
or specifically the people that I'm going to play it with, one of them I know
Probably
definitely
owns it.
has it.
What is this new mini game that you're gonna play now that you have to sell Twilight Imperium for? To
Oh
buy
my
new
gosh!
minis?
Don't even get me started on.
Fair. I do want to go to Taco Bell
New episode.
No, that'll be in
next week.
That'll be. I think that was on. I think I had started recording by then, so that'll be in the bonus bits for people.
Bonos.
Or
There you go.
I'll repeat it again for Philip.
It's a he's got to buy the leg to a Titan, not a whole Titan.
Yeah.
Just the leg.
By the way, there is a Titan Owners Club apparently.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I just want to know how many of those people 3D printed their Titans. Like, I'm not serious. Like, there is a group that's going to the Nova Open that has a thing called the Titan Owners Club, and they're having events where they do like a parade of like your Titans, or they're playing. So there's the Adeptus Titanicus game, which is basically like the Warhammer version of BattleTech, but they're playing it. And normally it's played where like the night that I have here, like this is the scale of what the Titan is. Like normally, then let me go to full screen so that people can actually maybe be able to see this.
He's
All
a
right.
big boy.
So this is an Imperial Knight in regular 40K, right here. All right. Now in regular 40K, a Titan at its minimum is like this tall.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So it's like a my-sized dancing Barbie.
Like there are classes of Titans that are 6 feet tall, and I'm not lying about that.
Nice.
In order to be part of the Titan Owners Club, you have to. Oh, I did not know that. That's a good thing to know. You have to submit your certificate of authenticity. So that means you have to have actually. So it's an elitist
You
club.
can't 3D print it.
You can't 3D print it because
have to print off.
those things are like $1,000 minimum
Yeah. Okay.
Ouch.
on Forge World.
So it's like a National Society of High School Scholars thing where I paid to get into this book. So I'm in that book, by the
Nice,
way.
sweetheart. Yeah. So in the game that I was talking about, they're doing full size Adeptus Titanicus, where the normal game, the Titans are that size. They're the size of normal Imperial Knights. But no, they're going to be playing it with the full size Titans on the floor. That's where you don't have a table. You don't play this on a tabletop. It is remove the tables. The floor is our battlefield now.
Yeah, I mean that's
You
pretty
basically
fun.
Robo Rally at a Gen Con. That's what you
Kind
do.
of, yeah. I almost wondered, like, do they then put them on wheels so you could actually, like, or do you have to, like, pick it up, move it?
Those must be fun to paint, and also a pain in the butt.
So much resin. Yeah, we had one of the 2 foot tall ones was at our Extra Life charity event, and the guy had to, like, buckle it into his car seat with, like, because like a little child.
It's too heavy to just put in your car without buckling it.
Yeah, because the first time you hit that, it's just going to go flying.
You do
So,
a mom
I've seen that game at Adepticon several years. I am not surprised. So,
That's fun.
but yeah, that's all I think that's a good place to stop. It's been a big episode, and I had stuff for a third segment just in case we went quick through the other stuff. But
No
we've had
chance.
enough here. So, I'm going to hit that beautiful bean footage here.
Warning.
Nope, that's the
Following
wrong.
podcast
Nope,
features
that's the
terrible
wrong.
jokes.
Stop.
Nope.
That one.
That's going to wrap up this week's episode, everyone. If you want to catch the show live, we record mostly every other Monday. boardandswords.com/live. It's got the schedule and the links to all of our streaming channels.
All right, send us feedback if you liked this episode. If I need to expand the news just a tiny bit, let me know. It might be hard. Or you could be like, no, never again. That was too many bad jokes. It was too many. Let me know. That's how I thrive, is listening to your feedback. Feedback at boardsandswords.com. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Boards and Swords Pod and at Boards and Swords Chris. And there we go. Boardsandswords.com for links to everything, like our Patreon. Check it out. Help support the show. And in the meantime, we'll be back in another 2 weeks with another show. Thanks, Corey and Jimmy, for being on. I got to go look and see what's the next game I'm going to make them. I mean, ask them to help me review.
We have Flourish at our house right now. And Horizon Zero Dawn and Root, and they all belong to you.
Yes, they do.
In the meantime, remember that every gamer has a story, and this one didn't take 12 hours to play.
Whee!
Bye-bye.
Goodbye now. Au revoir.
Arrivederci.
Sayonara.
Ciao.
I have to hit that on my head hard enough to actually make a thump so you can understand that.
That's how he says goodbye. Bam.
Requiescat in pace.
Requiescim pieces.
All right, I'm going to stop the stream now.
Bye.
Request